What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. Today it is the Lazy Daze Channel, and we're back at it again with some more history reaction for you guys today. And we are back on some Napoleon history for you, and it's Napoleon in Italy, the little corporal. So I'm really I'm really looking forward to finding out what happens in this episode. Jack is as well. We really enjoy Napoleon's content over here. We still have quite a few bits to get to, but we've just had a bit of a busy schedule over the last couple of weeks, and we probably still will as it's Christmas.
Yeah, give it some time, please, because this is a horrible time of year.
So January we'll be back on our normal regular updates and everything, so on and so forth, and we will most likely have a ranking system by then as well. But for now, if you guys haven't already, head over to Epic History TV's channel. A link will be in the description box down below. If you guys are enjoying our content, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we are just going to jump straight into this one.
Let's do this.
An Epic History TV PMF Productions collaboration. In 1796, at the height of the French Revolutionary Wars, a young French general took charge of a ragged, demoralized army in northern Italy. It was his first command. Many expected him to fail.
Imagine him with a mullet.
Instead, in just 1 month, he won his first brilliant campaign. With astonishing self-confidence, boldness and energy, he led his army to victory after victory, transforming the war in Europe, winning praise from a grateful republic, and forging a legend. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte's first campaign, and the dawn of a new age. (1792). Europe is plunged into conflict by revolution in France. At first, it seems this infant republic will be quickly snuffed out by her neighbors. Incredibly, France clings on, thanks to mass mobilization, patriotic fervor, and her traditional military power. In 1795, France occupies the Low Countries, while Prussia and Spain withdraw from the war. But the French Republic still faces a powerful coalition of enemies, which includes the Austrian Empire and kingdoms of Piedmont, Sardinia, Naples, and Great Britain, as well as a counter-revolutionary revolt in the Vendée region of western France. In Paris, the most extreme revolutionaries had been toppled, sent to the guillotine, as they had sent so many before them. France is now governed by the Directory, a more moderate 5-man committee, which quickly wins a reputation for corruption and inefficiency.
Always the way.
Always the way.
Nevertheless, in 1796, they plan a major military offensive to knock their most dangerous adversary, Austria, out of the war. The two main efforts will be made along the Rhine by powerful armies under General Jourdan and General Moreau. A third effort, of which much less is expected, will be made in northern Italy. The French Army of Italy is a poor cousin, starved of money and supplies, stripped of troops to reinforce French forces on the Rhine. But its fortunes are about to change.
Is that a cooking pot?
On the 2nd of March, 1796, the Directory appoint a new commander to lead the army. One of France's youngest generals, Napoleon Bonaparte. We're delighted to welcome back as video sponsor NapoleonSouvenirs.com, the online shop for all fans of the...
I can get a musket model for 160 quid. Oh, please, bro, please. Oh, stop. Stop.
A general's most important talent is to know the mind of the soldiers and gain his confidence.
Yeah.
He is not a machine that must be made to move. He is a reasonable being who needs leadership. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Solid words.
That's the only one I have.
Napoleon arrives at the Army of Italy's headquarters in Nice on the 25th of March.
Okay.
He is just 26 years old. 2 years have passed since he masterminded.
My fucker was 1 year younger than me.
He's
honestly.
24
He was
when
26.
he mastered the victory at Toulon.
Oh yeah, I know.
So 24 years old, this man has made moves.
Did French victory at the Siege of Toulon. Since then, his fortunes have been mixed. A short spell as artillery commander in Italy. 10 days in jail when his political patrons fell from power. He then refused to serve in the Vendée, fighting French counter-revolutionaries, leading to several months' unemployment in Paris. Then, an extraordinary break. 13 Vendémiaire, Paris. A royalist mob threatens to storm the national government. Napoleon is the closest general to hand and put in charge of its defense. He disperses the crowds with brutal efficiency and is acclaimed savior of the revolution. A grateful Directory promotes Napoleon to General of Division and awards him command of the Army of Italy. On the 9th of March, he marries his great love, Joséphine de Beauharnais, and leaves for the front 2 days later.
He told her not to wash for 3 days when he came back.
What?
Yep, it's a fact, right? So, obviously, while he was away doing some bits and bobs, right? One day when he was coming back, he sent a letter to Josephine and asked her to do something. What he asked her to do was not to wash until he got back. It's a fact. Quote me on that. He sent her a letter to say, don't wash.
Why?
I guess he likes the woman's musk.
No, man, it gets musty after like 2-3 hours.
Yeah, and think about the time period as well. My Josephine.
There's a reason why they go to the bathroom to clean it up.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
Just imagine that. Le Josephine, I'm asking you, please, do not wash.
Oh.
But yeah, he asked her not to wash, man.
How do you know that? Someone fact check this. Someone fact check this and let us know in the comments box, because I don't believe he's fucking sources. He saw one quote.
I don't
from
believe
somewhere.
my sources.
No, you still.
My mind has a lot of knowledge inside.
You
It
see
may not
one
sound normal,
You see
but
one
it
quote
does
somewhere
make
and
sense.
go, "That's true."
I'm telling you now.
French generals in Italy
Back me
with a
up here,
better
guys, come
claim
on.
to command than Napoleon. Serrurier,
I'll tell you
a
what, though, to be fair, I'd tell your mum not to wash for 3 days.
You fucking dick. You fucking dick.
professional soldier who first saw action in the 7 Years' War, a decade before Napoleon was born.
Fuck you, bro.
Augereau, a tough, experienced soldier, bold tactician, and committed Republican. And Massena, risen from the ranks,
Hey,
fearless,
Massena.
tireless,
Come on, Massena.
hero of the Battle of Loarno against the Austrians the year before.
What's the age
All
gap
three
between...
would later become marshals of Napoleon's empire.
I'm not too sure.
For now, Napoleon seems to these veterans young and underqualified, a political
Yeah.
appointment, embarrassingly infatuated with his new wife. But there is something about the Corsican. As
Wouldn't
Massena
you?
observed,
I'd be absolutely infatuated with my new wife.
Embarrassingly.
They find it embarrassing.
infatuated.
Because they're old men, do you know what I mean?
That's your
They-
wife. You've just married her. Of course you've got to be infatuated by her. You should be infatuated by her.
They've had 3 wives by now.
Yeah, they've
Every
probably
single
gone-
one's cheated on
Yeah.
them. That's why they're just like, yeah, she'll leave you for another man.
Yeah, poor Marshall.
his small size and puny face did not put him in their favor. But as soon as he donned his general's hat, he seemed to grow by 2 feet.
Okay.
Big up then.
That was
Napoleon
Massena's
impresses above all with his tireless energy, and he has much to do. His army is organized into Massena's advance guard of 2 divisions, one led by a hard-fighting Swiss general La Harpe, and the other by Meunier, whom Napoleon soon decides is incompetent. The main body comprises the divisions of Augereau, Serrurier, and 2 smaller divisions under Macquart and Garnier. The cavalry is led by General Stengel. But the army of Italy has been shockingly neglected by the Directory. The men are hungry and unpaid, with a few units on the verge of mutiny. Some men don't even have shoes or muskets.
No muskets.
No
Napoleon
shoes.
inspects
Muskets.
the troops and studies reports.
I would happily walk around with no shoes but have a musket, thank you very much. I'm in war.
I don't want trench foot.
But would you
I'd
rather...
take a musket off one of my dead guys.
But they're not able to, because otherwise you would have done that already.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Because at the same time, I would take someone else's shoes off of a...
Yeah, I'd take some... Yeah, that's a very good point.
I would rather the musket to shoot them to take the shoes.
To take their... Yeah.
Like, give me a musket.
He enforces discipline and breaks up rotten units. He is assisted by his aide-de-camp, Junot, Marmont, and a dashing cavalry colonel, Joachim Murat.
Everyone's here.
As emperor,
Yeah,
Napoleon will make 2 of these men dukes.
He looks like he's got
and
back.
one a king.
I tell
Murat's
you
got
what,
back.
Murat has some back. Show me that bunda.
Show me that back.
His most valuable assistant is his new chief of staff, General Berthier, who helps him to reorganize the army's supply system and scour southern France for food, transport, and forage.
I like how he went round
The
personally to
situation
see how the
begins
soldiers
to
were.
improve.
Yeah, definitely.
But Napoleon knows what will really rejuvenate his ragged divisions. Victory in battle, and the promise of plunder.
I want to lead you into the most futile plains in the world. Rich province, great cities will be in your power. There will be fun. There you will find honor, glory, and riches. Soldiers of Italy, you will lack courage, or is it consistency?
I think it's consistency.
Yeah.
Will you lack courage or consistency?
Yeah. General Bonaparte to his army of Italy.
Okay.
I like his rallying ways.
Yeah.
Like he's.
Honor, glory, and riches.
Yeah.
Napoleon has spent 2 years studying the situation in northern Italy and the history of past wars here. He has developed clear plans on how the campaign must be fought. Now, he will put them into action. Napoleon, with 38,000 troops, outnumbers the Piedmontese and the Austrian army. But if they combine, he will be outnumbered, so he must prevent this at all costs. His plan bears all the hallmarks of what will become known as the Napoleonic art of war. A bold, rapid advance, not against the expected target, Genoa, but Dego. Here he will occupy the central position and prize his enemies apart.
Blocking them off.
Nice.
Yeah.
He knows that when threatened, the Piedmontese will retreat on their capital Turin, the Austrians on Milan. With his enemies divided, unable to support each other, he can defeat each in detail. Napoleon's plan will be aided by the fragility of the Austro-Piedmontese alliance. They regard each other with deep distrust after years of rivalry. The new Austrian commander, General Beaulieu, is experienced and was once considered energetic, but he is now 70 years old and does not know Italy. He is
Once
convinced the
considered
French will
energetic.
target Genoa, the port used by the British to
someone
supply
says
their
that to me when I'm
coalition
70.
allies. So much so that he rejects Piedmont.
You'll be still clarting those 90-year-olds, don't you?
Shut up, darling. I'll get your frame. You'll be needing it to hold on to.
You'll be that type of guy in that old nursing home just going, do you want to give him a wash?
Oh, I can't get the aerial on. Can you just go behind the telly and have a look for me?
Oops, I dropped my pen.
Oh no, my medicine. Oh God.
Tease plans for close cooperation. Their troops remain scattered across mountain passes in a general defense against invasion. On the 4th of April, Napoleon moves his headquarters forward to Albenga in preparation for his offensive. But Beaulieu strikes first. On the 10th of April, Austrian troops take Voltri to disrupt the expected French attack on Genoa. The small French garrison falls back to join Massena's advance guard at Savona.
So
But Beaulieu's fixation with Genoa is playing into Napoleon's hands.
Yeah. He thinks he's
Dego,
going for
with
it,
its
you know.
vital crossroads that link the Piedmontese and Austrian armies, is covered by just 8,000 men of Argenteau's corps. Mountainous terrain means Beaulieu can only march to Argenteau's aid via Acqui, more than 20 miles to the north. What's more, Argenteau has orders to take French positions at Montenotte as a diversion for the attack at Voltri. But the French cling on courageously. Corporal
love this
Roche
artwork.
particularly distinguishes himself, exposing himself to enemy fire to shoot down on the enemy. His commander, Colonel Rampont, tells his men, "Here we must conquer or die," a moment which quickly enters French military folklore. It's the perfect setup for Napoleon. The enemy's attention is focused on Voltri, and Argenteau's corps has been left dangerously exposed. He swings into action, sending La Harpe's division to reinforce Rampont's troops, while Massena makes a tough night march across steep ravines in rain and fog to turn Argenteau's right flank. By dawn, the Austrians are outnumbered, outflanked, and under heavy attack.
Could you imagine?
They retreat in disarray. Napoleon orders Massena to move on Dego, while he turns his attention to the Piedmontese. But Augereau's advance gets held up at Cosseria. The old castle is held by Piedmontese and Croatian grenadiers. The French launch frontal attacks into withering fire and suffer hundreds of casualties.
Another
And
mighty
the
meat
colonel
grinder
of the
situation.
18th Demi Brigade is killed. A 26-year-old Louis Gabriel Suchet takes over command.
Suchet.
"I have never seen fire like it," wrote Marmont,
26 years old
Napoleon's
as well, and
aide-de-camp.
takes over.
Despite heroic resistance, the hopelessly outnumbered garrison surrenders the next day. With Serrurier's division also advancing from the south, Piedmontese commander General Colli has little choice but to abandon his position at Montezemolo. The same day, under Napoleon's watchful eye, Massena takes Dego. But while La Harpe's division moves off to reinforce Augereau, hungry French troops left in Dego turn to plunder and pillage. No one spots Colonel Vukasovic, a tough Croatian commander, approaching with 3,000 reinforcements. He attacks at dawn, routing the French and retaking Dego with ease.
So he retook
It
it.
requires
they're all
the
pissed.
recall of La
Yeah, I
Harpe's
guess so.
division and
I
another
didn't
day
think
of
about
heavy
that.
combat before Vukasovic can be driven out of Dego. A bayonet charge led by 27-year-old Colonel Lannes wins particular praise from General
Lannes.
Bonaparte.
They're all
Napoleon
they're
has
all
won
young
3
together, all
victories in
20s,
4
man.
days.
They're all like interlinked.
The marches and battles have been grueling, but he has achieved his first objective. The Austrians are regrouping at Acqui and will soon retreat to Alessandria. They can offer no support to the Piedmontese. And so General Colli orders another withdrawal to a strong defensive position behind the Corsalia River. Napoleon orders an immediate attack. Augereau's division on the right, Serrurier on the left, Massena in support. But the French, under heavy fire, struggle to cross the swollen river with its steep banks. When Serrurier's troops finally get into San Michele, they immediately begin looting the town and are thrown out by a counterattack. Despite his success, Colli is still heavily outnumbered and fears encirclement. The following evening, he begins a covert withdrawal to Mondovi. But Napoleon is not deceived by the fake campfires. Patrols confirm his suspicions. The Piedmontese are pulling back. Though his troops are exhausted, wet and hungry, he launches them after the fleeing enemy. Colley's troops are caught before they can establish a new defensive line. The brave and popular General Dicat is killed. Retreat turns to rout.
Wow.
The French enter Mondovi in triumph, where at last, briefly, they can eat and rest.
Jesus.
Oh, look at that.
That is nice.
The two armies which lately attacked you in full confidence now fly before you in terror. General Bonaparte. God, you look so good like that, Bonaparte. Look at him.
General Colley, his defeated troops scattered and demoralized, requests an armistice. Napoleon declines as his troops descend from the mountains into the fertile plain of Piedmont. Destitute and starved, French soldiers now plunder the Italian countryside freely.
Dash me on the wagon.
Brigadier
I'm sorry.
is among those frustrated by the men's conduct.
Yeah.
Everything would
I can
go
see that,
very
though.
well if the soldiers
He's
did
taking
not
a cow
abandon
on a lead.
themselves to pillage. Not a day passes without some looters being shot. Despite this severity, the mania doesn't stop. The rural folk are arming themselves. Napoleon condemns such behavior, but his orders have limited impact, especially as everyone knows Generals Massena and Augereau to be two of the greatest offenders. On the 25th of April, French troops enter Carrasco, just 30 miles south of the Piedmontese capital, Turin. Meanwhile, General Beaulieu is at long last marching to Piedmont's aid. But he is a week late. And when he learns that Piedmont has opened negotiations with the enemy, he withdraws his troops in disgust, planning to take up new positions along the Po River. Austrian troops join in the plunder of Piedmontese villages as they go. Victor Amadeus III, king of Piedmont.
They were just allies 2 minutes ago.
And now because the discussion...
Yeah, they're pillaging.
They're just
fucking up villages all the way.
Jesus.
King of Piedmont Sardinia sees no option but to accept Bonaparte's terms for an armistice. Piedmont must give up the strategic fortresses at Cuneo and either Alessandria or Tortona, leaving the country virtually defenseless. The final peace treaty, signed 3 weeks later in Paris, cedes Nice and Savoie to France and grants free passage to French armies. Napoleon has ended the 4-year war with Piedmont in less than 3 weeks.
At 27 years old.
27 years old.
Soldiers, you've won 6 victories in a fortnight and conquered the richest part of Piedmont. But soldiers, you have yet done nothing, for there still remains much to do. Cool, blimey. There's still more to do.
Of course, we know what he does.
Italy has little time to rest on its laurels. 4 days later, having received 7,000 reinforcements and fresh supplies, it's on the move again.
That's not too bad, 4 days.
Napoleon plans to invade the rich province of Lombardy, ruled by the Emperor of Austria, and defeat Beaulieu's army. But first he must cross the Po River, which is closely watched by Austrian forces. It will prove one of Napoleon's most brilliant maneuvers. Massena is ordered to make conspicuous preparations to cross the river near Sale, assembling boats and building gun batteries. Meanwhile, Napoleon has formed a new elite brigade, 5,000 grenadiers, carabiniers and chasseurs to act as the army's advance guard under the command of General d'Allemagne. This force is ordered to march rapidly east to Piacenza, and cover 40 miles in just 36 hours. They are followed by La Harpe's division, then Augereau and the cavalry. Beaulieu receives reports that French troops are moving east and begins to redeploy his forces, while remaining conscious that there are still French troops that might cross the Po as far west as Valença. This uncertainty makes it impossible for him to concentrate his forces. What's more, he's completely underestimated the scale and speed of Napoleon's move. The French advance guard, with Colonel Lannes in the lead, crosses the Po on the 7th of May, chasing off Austrian patrols that are the only opposition.
Only opposition is the patrol.
By the next morning, most of La Harpe's and Augereau's divisions and the cavalry are across, consolidating the French bridgehead, while Massena and Serrurier move to the crossing as fast as they can.
Nice.
Men of General Litaille's division are the closest Austrian troops. They take up defensive positions at Fombio, but are overwhelmed by the French attack. That evening, Beaulieu's advance guard arrives, expecting to reinforce Litaille. Instead, they blunder into La Harpe's division. In confused night fighting, General La Harpe is shot dead, possibly by friendly fire. Napoleon regards him as one of the army's best generals, and his loss a great blow.
Oh dear.
Beaulieu, realizing that the French have crossed the Po in force and now threaten to cut him off, orders a rapid withdrawal east. Milan is to be sacrificed. The great fortress of Mantua will be his next refuge. The French advance guard is soon in pursuit. On the morning of the 10th of May, they catch the Austrian rearguard at Lodi.
Oh.
French troops chase the Austrians across town and over the town's 200-yard bridge over the River Adda. But when they try to follow, they find the bridge is swept by fire from 14 guns. Its far end is held by 3 battalions of Croatian infantry. Several more battalions and cavalry squadrons are behind them in reserve. Around 6,500 men in total. Napoleon soon arrives and positions guns to bombard the Austrians on the far bank. An artillery duel rages for much of the afternoon. Napoleon sends Beaumont's cavalry brigade upstream to look for a ford so they can cross the river and flank the Austrian defenses. But he grows impatient. Massena's division has begun to arrive from the south, bringing his strength up to 15,000 men and 30 guns. Napoleon makes a speech to the infantry, taunting them, daring them to take the bridge, then orders them forward. To cries of "Vive la République!" the hardened 2nd Carabinier Battalion leads the charge. They come under torrential fire from the Austrian guns. But urged on by Napoleon, Berthier, Massena, Lannes and others, French infantry surge across, under and around the bridge.
God, imagine that.
Faced with this irresistible onslaught, the Austrian front line crumbles.
It's just men
And with
running
French cavalry across the river to the north, the rest of the Austrian rearguard begins an orderly withdrawal.
500 French casualties. 2,000 Austrian.
I no longer regard myself as a simple general, but as a man called upon to decide the fate of peoples. Ho, ho.
He's a big man.
5 days after his victory at Lodi, Napoleon leads his army into the city of Milan. They are welcomed by cheering crowds. Though in reality, Italians are deeply divided in their attitudes towards the French. After Lodi, French soldiers have a new nickname for their general, Le Petit Caporal, the Little Corporal. It's a term of affection because he gets his hands dirty, even aiming the guns himself, the job of an artillery corporal. In just a month, Napoleon has transformed a war-weary, dishevelled and demoralised army into a victorious fighting force, brimming with esprit de corps and eager for further conquests.
You cannot say that he didn't change
He,
history.
in his first campaign,
can't
has
do it like
demonstrated extraordinary energy, mastery of detail, brilliant military intuition, above all, indomitable self-belief.
Yeah.
It is this quality that inspires his soldiers to risk their lives for glory, for the Republic,
Yeah, man.
and for the man they will one day acclaim their emperor. A big thank you to PMF Productions for their help creating
That's
this
like the first time
series.
I've got shivers down my spine.
I know.
from that. That's insane.
I know.
Oh my days.
We've also got suggested PMF productions, so if you guys want us to react to that, please let us know in the comments box down below. I really enjoyed this. Once again, just the amount of Napoleon content we
And
get
it's-
chucked our way,
yeah.
it's always interesting. There's always
We've
so much
we've now started to see how he all started as a young lad.
That's what I liked as well.
Like
yeah.
it's there, and I like to see how he's getting these little nicknames and why he's getting them. Because he's getting his hands dirty.
like,
He's doing
again,
things.
building these relationships up with these generals
Yeah.
and the marshals at the beginning.
Yeah.
To why
I
it
know,
helps you
yeah.
understand why he later picks them as well.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
He's been around them for
I
so
didn't
long.
realise there were all, some of them were obviously like the same age as him. Like,
Yeah, I think they were all sort of in the
That's-
same sort of circles and so on and so forth. But it is interesting to find out who come in to win and so on and so
Yeah.
forth and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. We found out a bit more about
Yeah.
Mormon salts and lands, so that was interesting. So I'm definitely looking forward to the information that we get in the episodes to come. If you guys haven't already, please head over to Epic History's channel. The link will be in the description box down below.
There, look, it's down there.
It's just there. If you guys are enjoying our content. Struggling there, then you know where the subscribe button is, and hit that too.
Subscribe, guys.
Subscribe,
You know what it
guys.
is. Christmas spirit and all that.
And we will catch you in the next video.
See you guys in a bit.